Yeah.
Every time, every time. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to welcome you to a special episode of Love, Death, and Taxes. We are joined today, as we always are, but today, and specifically in her capacity as an author, we are joined today by Agnes Amisano, the author of Forbidden Love, which is technically kind of, sort of, an an autobiographical prequel to her book Seven Rings, One Love, which is definitely an autobiographical kind of book. Um, and Agnes, I want to talk today. It fits into so many of our different themes that we talk about when we talk about relationships. Um, there's so much love. There is so much death. There is technically a certain amount of taxes too. Um, but I want to talk specifically about the theme of generational curses in this book because when I was reading it, that is the thing that kept coming to me. Like all of the people in there, except for one, seemed to be trapped in this cycle of the same thing happening to them that happened to their parents, that happened to them, that then got passed on to their kids. There's three generations of just pain in this particular book. I don't know if that song it might do. I have to tell you, there is key insight. Oh, and really great. You're a good writer. You know that. You're a very good writer. The way you explained many of these things, one of the hardest things to do when I was learning how to write, one of the hardest things to do is to put in words what someone is thinking, and you did that. You do a really good job at that. Okay, um, let me be a little more specific. Forbidden Love is a book about Adele, who is a young woman who grows up in post-war Poland. I can say that, right? Post-World War II Poland, in a difficult life, a difficult time, in what I would consider to be a very rural, traditional, rural Polish background. And uh, life was tough. Life was tough. But more importantly, the expectations of what was asked of her made her life much more difficult than it could have been. I've been talking for a long time. Agnes, can you tell me what inspired you to write this book in the beginning? That's the most important thing. What inspired you to write this book? And then we've got to go into how.
From reading my autobiography, um, you could remember that I had very difficult relationship with my mother.
Yes.
And when I was a child, I just I didn't want to have anything to do with her. I didn't have those feelings between. There was not exactly a great love there. When I was a teenager, I just wanted to get away. But I think majority of kids want to get away from their parents when they are teenagers.
Of
And
course.
later, the relationship was there, but it wasn't exactly deep, and it was extremely difficult. As I grew older and I start finding out more and more, because when you're growing up, you hear stories. This is what I did, this is how it was done, and all that. And you're looking at it's like, how was that possible? It's just, because we are already different generation. So as I grew older, I started thinking, what makes her the way she was? What happened to her? And then I started analyzing her life. I started analyzing, and I started understanding her. And I started understanding her. That's when forgiveness took place, when I was able to understand how difficult her life was and how much she was able to give and how much she received. Every single generation supposed to be better, supposed to be stronger, supposed to be able to give more than received, supposed to be better. In a small, that's my personal opinion.
I mean, that's
Um,
what they tell us. That's what they tell us for sure.
yeah,
Well, we hope so. It's the
and
hope.
yeah, so I start analyzing everything, and I noticed that my mother gave her children more than what she got from her mother, and her mother got give actually to her children more than what she got. So for women back then, it was very difficult. It was very difficult. You did what you were told no matter what, because as of a respect for your parents, without having any kind of love for yourself or plans for yourself. And the worst thing that even I grew up with was you doing everything because you're doing certain things because what people will say. This is like a cookie cutter situation over generations. This is what you do. This is the way things supposed to be done. It's like you're moving into your house, you have a table, you have chairs, you have bed, and this is basics. And what do you mean you want to do this or do that? Like that's not how it's being done. You cannot go outside the box. Everything has to be the same. And thank God, thank God, especially women overcome those situations. Now we have more choices. The character of Adele, she was robbed of that from very young age throughout her whole life. That stayed with her. She didn't have choices, and when she had situations, she was there to make very difficult choices. Still, she stayed like, if I do this, what people will say, what my family will say, what my neighbors will say, how they're going to look at me. So the word bravery was too scary for her. So she
Uh,
was
uh,
stuck.
you, I, I'm going to say, eh, even if she were a brave person, based on what happened in the book, it is possible for a brave person to, for the purposes of self-preservation, to back down in the situations that she found herself in. And I got to say situations because it's not just one. It's family, it's religion, it's community, it's her new family who she went and stayed with. Every every time, and it's when she was younger, every time she attempted to do something new, to move up, to it didn't suit the people around her. And you have to be very, very courageous to be one of the few people who decides, I'm going to break out of whatever is happening here and I am going to do something different. Even when you are in your righteous indignation, and I'm not even going to say specifically what I'm talking about, but in your complete righteous Indignation. You've caught them red-handed doing things they should not be doing. A lot of mercy. And they turn it around on you. That happens like all the time, by the way. Gaslighting,
Yeah.
um, threatening. It happens a lot. But on top of that, I can see how if you don't think there's anyone who's going to stand up for you, you go to your family and tell them this happened, and they don't say anything. You're like, "Then what am I going to do? I don't even see a way out. I don't I don't know if there's a way to get away from something like that." So I hear you. Yes, courage. Obviously. But the times that she did show courage, it got like taken from her. Like those sparks were just removed. And so it was very, very difficult. I'm not saying she was perfect. I'm not saying no. I'm and that's why I want to talk about the generational curses thing like later on, because we call it curses, but honestly, we do it to one another. As humans, we do this thing.
Yeah.
We take, oh, I was like that. Why you should be special? The same thing should happen to you. And I mean, I'm not talking about just allowing things to happen. I'm talking about going out of their way to make things happen to you that apparently they feel like, oh, if I happened to me, then it's got to happen to you too. Oh man. But yeah, you were
Eh,
saying,
she was beaten by life to submission. She was beaten by life to submission. And she had very difficult choices to make. At the beginning, when she was young, she grabbed her dream, to hold on to it, to better herself. She was ambitious. God forbid you couldn't do that. Then, okay, she tried to make the best out of the situation she was put in. She did her best. It didn't work out. It just got better. And again, trying to look from perspective of her husband, who was again put in a position, heart wants what heart wants. uh, when I was growing up, I always blamed him for a lot of things, but then as a young man, as a teenager, he was put again, forced into do things that it wasn't close to his heart. So
say,
just because of his parents' decision, look how many people paid for that decision.
yep,
And they paid dearly, including me, because I will never get those images. um when he came to collect his clothing, I would never get those images out of my mind till the day I die. That was very traumatic, and I don't think that 3 year olds should ever be put in that kind of situation. Any child, anyone, but especially a 3 year old child. So yes, people are not making, people forced to make certain decisions, and then other people paying for it. And Adele, even when she thought that she found the one and only, the true love, look what happened. If she would have actually went that way, she still would have to give up her personal freedom for the sake of the culture. That was her, that's why
I
she
want to say
was
something
leaving.
about that too, because I see that as part of the whole. I'm trying not to give away too much of the book. People, you really should go and read this because, and especially, I'm going to say something and they're going to be like, oh, who are you to tell women what to read? Women should read this book, and women should read this book because the way Agnes writes it explains. Oh, so men should read it too. As I was reading it, there was a helplessness in it that maybe because of our age, maybe we're a different generation than, the generation before. Your mother and my mother are probably about in the same generation.
Yeah.
Um, Your mother might be a little bit older, but not by much. My mother was born in 1943. When was your mother born? Do you know her
Didn't-
birth
She would have
year?
been 90, so 36.
Yes, there's a 36. Not that much. It's
Hmm.
within 10 years. So they're technically in the same generation because, they say generations, which are 20 years. So the kind of the kind of helplessness that was in there, I do not think that was just about uh the generation or how old timey it was or whatever. I think it's also about the fact that women are expected to behave a certain way and do certain things simply because they are women, and they are taken advantage of in ways that are completely and totally unfair. I'm sorry. I grew up in a house of women, so in my head, like I can see, and it like really, really bothers me to see women being taken advantage of, and I feel like she was taken advantage of, not just because she was young. Um, that might be part of the game. That might be part of it. Like they take you young so that in your mind you can't, you won't be a 20-year-old and start thinking, oh, maybe this is no good. I make my own money. I make enough money my own. I could get the heck out of here. I don't know. No, we're not going to let you do that long enough so you can save enough and do whatever you want to do. Um, and in that same way, there seem to be communities that may look and see a young man and be like, oh, he's great. Look at him. He's providing. He loves that family. He's doing what he's supposed to be doing. Let me get my five sisters to lay wait that dude. And the next thing you know, we're gonna take him. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
There is there's some and people, if you just heard me give away a little bit, you it's not that I don't know these things happen, and we have all heard these things happen. It's just fascinating to see that they all happen in one, and there are probably millions of women just like that, right? In Poland, would you think for it to happen to this person and the things that happen to them, like, but did you know when you were writing this second, because you wrote this one after you wrote the first one,
yeah,
as you are reading it, did you see all the generational cycles happening over and over again? Did you recognize that? Or did
yeah.
you just, hey, I'm
No,
just writing this book. Okay, to see what's
no,
happening.
no.
Okay.
I saw that. I saw that. I mean, part of that. It's very visible that I'm coming from the line of very strong women,
Yeah.
because you can ask yourself a question: how much one person can handle, how much she
Yes.
can put up with, and I think each generation comes out with a little bit better results.
Hope so.
Because I definitely took that, like, I didn't act like my mother. I did complete opposite, but yes, I mean, I have a picture of my great grandmother. I have a picture of my great grandmother with my grandma as a little child. And this lady
Okay.
must have been very young, but you look in her face and it's like, Grandma? No, that's your mother. Oh my God. Like, you see how much life took out of her. So I don't know a lot about her life, but you can see from the picture it wasn't easy. Uh, Knowing my grandmother's life, my God, I didn't put everything in a book, but this lady from age of 9, she was put to work. Her family gave her away to actually be a help in
Right.
somebody's house for money
Right.
because they were poor. At 9 years old, that child must have gone through so many different feelings, missing her parents, missing her siblings. No one cared about that. Um, at 12 years old, she overheard her employer talking to her friend. It's a little story that this man just touches his wife and she's pregnant. So she went to the store to buy bread for the family, and the man walked by her and he brushed himself over her arm. She thought, "Oh my God, the man touched me. I'm pregnant."
Ah,
12-year-old. So she actually cried for 2 weeks because she didn't know what she's gonna do. She's a child and she's gonna have a child. Then the lady of the house noticed that she's constantly crying. So she called her aside and started asking something happened to the family. And she goes, "No, I'm gonna be pregnant. Oh my God, I'm pregnant." She goes, "Oh my God, who did this?" And she goes, like, "I don't know his name." "What do you mean you don't know? Where did it happen?" So she told her what happened, and that's when she find out where kids are coming from. So
she would have gotten kicked out of that house.
no,
If that woman wasn't like patient enough to ask, what do you
yeah.
mean? What are you
And
talking about?
at 15, she was told by her older sister who was married to a Russian soldier. And she lived in Russia. She came back to Poland to visit, and she took my
Mm.
grandma under her wing. And at the age of 15, she taught her how to read and write. So, and then my grandma grew up, got married, had 9 children, the war, husband taken away. Imagine, how would you feel? The husband is being taken away for 7 years. Because you heard the stories came back because his brother was there with him because he was taken to be simply a slave in German on German farm. He had an affair with another woman, and they had throughout the 7 years, he had kids with her. And then after 7 years, he comes back. After 7 years, he comes back, and then she embraces him. Which woman will do that?
I, I I want you to think about when I don't know what you do in that position. Like you're a young man and you've been taken as a slave. And do you think you're even going to make it home? The brutality might be crazy. You might think
Yeah,
I'm not going to ever make it home. You might think this is all that there is, and so make the best of the thing that's happening. Like I'm trying to put myself in all that. But yeah,
yeah,
of course, she comes home. There are other kids that he has had with this woman out there, and you're supposed to be with him again. I can't imagine. I'm upset with people for way less than that. um,
actually, I tried to find his
these
children
stories,
and I
these
couldn't.
stories do. Go ahead. No, these stories remind me that yeah, how much better we do have it, how much more freedom we do have. I will say, if you're a man, if you're a woman, it really is for everybody. You should really take a look at this book because the idea of it and the ideas in it about what to do when you're in a untenable situation are as important as the interesting things that happen from one step to the next in the book. Um, I want you to tell me about the ending because the ending, let me say this without saying this. Uh, it takes a certain amount of imagination to do what you did with it, number one. But more importantly, there's a lot of thought. And that's what I was saying even before. Your y- her perception, Adele's perception of the world, and recollection and whatever. And I know why and how you're putting this together because you're looking from it from the outside and you knew what you did and you know how you did what you did and what happened during it. So you're thinking to yourself, I'm writing a book. I have to put certain, of course, there's going to be some things you're going to have to fill in. She couldn't have told you, "Oh, this is what I was thinking at this day. And this is what I was thinking." She would not have done that. But I see what you did as far as, hey, what else could she possibly have been thinking in this experience? But then also, you are very kind in giving her like the ability to see at the end and recognize the, I wouldn't say her errors. I would say the journey, the way the journey turned out, and that had different roads been taken, that it would have happened a different way. I
Well,
think that's like the best part of the book.
let me say this. This book is, well, I couldn't write about my parents' love story because I wasn't there, right, when everything was going on. So it's a it's a this is a product of doing investigation for at least 2 years,
Mhm.
2 to 3 years, discussing, already how I found out about my biological father from the first book. So taking into consideration, hearing what my mother was telling the story when I was growing
Mhm.
up,
Okay.
taking into consideration my grandmother's story when I was growing up, after my mother was gone and I find out about my father, um, then I start talking to my family members and I find out certain things. Then I was lucky enough to discover his family and discussion whoever I met. And that family is very, very large. To I spoke to whomever I met. Did you know my father? Did you know my mother? What did you hear? So this compilation of all those stories throughout the book. Now, I might surprise you because the ending is not complete fantasy. It's not complete fantasy. Um, it's not only me, but the moment when Adele came and saw all her three children and those two husbands sitting, that's actually happened. We saw
I
her.
am not surprised. I actually imagined you are a very practical person. Sorry, ladies and gents, I'm not just interviewing here. This woman ends up, she's my friend, so I kind of sort of know who she is. On top of the fact that I'm reviewing this book, or interviewing her regarding this book, you are a very practical person and pragmatic person, and for you to put that in the book, it said to me, and I have had, like, at the moment of my mother's death, people called me, okay, and told me that they were in a dream. They were sleeping. This person was dreaming. It was in the middle of the day, but he's dreaming because he's a truck driver who drives at night. So he was asleep when she passed away. And she appeared in his dream and said things to him. And so when I heard, read the book, and recognized in your book that these people in different places were having experiences with her, because I know who you are, I was not surprised actually. Now that you're telling me, oh, these things happen, I'm like, no, no, no. Of course, they have. If they hadn't, you would not have put them in the book because you're just not like that. And so that's the thing. You get to chapter, it's 12 chapters. You get to chapter 11, you're like, what's that?
13. Yeah.
What could possibly be left? What? But that's what I'm saying. That's why I wanted to talk to you about the end. It
Yeah.
was great that you actually hit on it exactly before I asked you, because I was going to ask you
Yeah.
specifically about that. I'm
Those,
not going to spoil it. Ladies and gentlemen, please go and take a look.
and
It's
I have to tell you that I heard I think you were still awake for the moment at our anniversary when I sang the song.
Wait, okay.
Well, that was second day of celebration. So I'm
Oh
not
my
sure
gosh.
if you stayed.
Very quickly, people. This thing goes on until the middle of the night. They start partying at like 4 in the afternoon, and they're going, they're going, they're going, they're going. And then the next day they do it again. And the next day they do it again. And the next day they do it again. They're so Roma. They're so Polish. And
Polish
constant,
tradition. I don't understand.
constant. Like, it's time to have money. I'm like, I just need 5 minutes. Let me make 5 minutes.
Following day. Yeah.
Yeah, enough. You still got like jet lag because the hours aren't exactly
Yeah.
the same. But then on top of that, yeah, it was like 3 days. We were like 3 days in, 2 days in, whatever it
Yeah.
was.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But
go ahead.
one of my cousins wrote a beautiful song.
Hmm.
And when I heard that song, I'm thinking like, my gosh, this is about their love. So I sang that song with one of the entertainers that we had, entertainment group at our anniversary. And I that song inspired me to do the ending the way I did. I had a dream at certain point that after a few days she came out from this darkness looking like a beautiful young girl that she was. Um, so that was my dream. So I knew that she crossed over, and I was thinking like what might have happened during that time, and what might have she what would have been her paradise.
Right.
What would have been her paradise? And I think I capture her heart desire. I truly feel like I did.
Okay.
And you know what is funny? We're talking about this book today. Tomorrow it's gonna be 30th anniversary of my father's passing.
Okay.
Yeah, tomorrow's
Yeah.
gonna be 30 years since he passed.
And by the
So
way, ladies and gents, that's all something you should check out as well because is she saying her father's passing? There's a little bit of a twist in there as far as that's concerned. So when you read it, there is betrayal and love and passion and um, so many twists and turns, which people have in their lives. Yes, that is something that happens. It's just there seem to be so many um, cyclical things that happen, and then sometimes the thing that bothered me the most was that sometimes there's a saying they say hurt people like the oppressors like oppress the victim and then the victim turns around and oppress somebody else, but then it goes back around where it was just such a cyclical thing. And, we talk about these generational curses. Oh, your father did this, so because he did that then it happens to you, or your mother did this and because she did that it happens to you. No, no, no. In a way it's almost as if you shape. That's what I saw here. You have the ability to break from these patterns that happen over and over again. And you have the ability to continue them and make the mistake of, bringing it on your children or your grandchildren or whatever it is, and then destroying, whatever. And when I say wealth, I don't mean money. I'm talking about whatever soul, wealth, whatever great you could possibly have had. And it's rough, man. Like things were happening to her that in the second book, in the first book, technically the you know what I mean. The
yeah,
the
yeah,
other book,
yeah.
yeah. happens in that book, and I'm like, oh, but she the same thing that happened to her, and
Yeah,
it
but
bothered
oh,
me.
yes,
That bothered me.
but you
But then also, your
understand.
dad
Mhm.
had a situation where he
Yeah,
did a thing to someone, and then he saw the thing happening to the person who happened. So it's almost as if nobody could escape it, but they could have escaped it, right? It's
choices. We all have choices to make. We all have choices to make. Yeah,
that's my phrase.
yeah.
Still my phrase.
We all have choices to make. But now
Ladies and
you
gents,
understand that book was um in order to explain why she was not able to love the way was expected of her. Life beat her to submission, and she was
yeah,
not capable of giving the love that was expected a mother to give.
oh, yeah.
And at
You
the same time, I understand now, after all those years, why she was always after the tough love, if we may say, if we may call this love, because she was preparing her daughters for the worst. That if
yeah,
something, if something to
it,
happen in your life, you're going to be strong to push through.
yeah. There's that. I mean, you're being generous. But there's also there also seemed to be a little. It's almost as if she was jealous, and I've seen that in my own
She was.
life. Yeah, where people mothers are sometimes jealous of their, I'm just going to say children. I'm not going to say daughters, but it does happen with the daughters more because they're like, "Oh, look at you! You're getting all this. You're young and you can do whatever you want and you're free and blah blah blah." And here I am stuck, married, and older, and can't do that and blah blah blah. But you're not supposed to, And in this world, today's world, there's so many opportunities. Figure that out. Don't you know mess up life for
especially
everybody and
especially if you
pass
are,
on.
yeah, if you are in mature age, you should be able to figure it out. You
Yeah.
should be smart enough to figure it out. But not everyone has those capabilities. Some people, like Adele in the book, she closed herself in. She did
Yeah.
what was expected of her. She did whatever was acceptable by other people. She
Yeah.
fulfilled her duties, not with love and affection, just out of obligation. Just out of
Yeah.
obligation.
And sometimes it seems as if it was sort of not sort of kind of often out of fear. Like, what else am I going to do if I do something else? Or there's no opportunity. What is the other path? If you've never seen another path to go, and this is the only path that has been shown to you, what do you do? How else do you manage? Oh, Agnes, you gave me a lot to think about through this one, man. You guys got to pick this book up again. I'm going to show it to you. It's called Forbidden Love, and the scene here is. I think this is chapter 12. That's what I think. That this is,
Yes, it is.
the end. Yeah, the end
That's
of.
exactly what it is.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah. This is the end, end, end. Yeah, there's
And the
there's no
beginning
other
of
way to say
and the
that. That's
beginning
what I.
and the
That's what I think.
beginning
Yeah,
and
it's the end of, yes, exactly. In a way, in the beginning as well. Ladies and gents, I'll say thank you for listening to us. We are, huh. We'll go back to our regular schedule. Interesting, more interesting, very interesting, but it's heavy too, Agnes. This is heavy. Like, I was reading it today, and people at work, well, reading it. I was listening to it today. I had to finish. Okay, I had to finish. All right. I have been sitting on it for a while. I have been doing a lot of work with something new in my life and someone new in my life. And what happens is I don't have a lot of time to read. But what I did today, I was like, you know what? I have to read this. I've got to hear it. And what I did was I bought. It's not an audiobook. It's in Kindle, but there's a way to get your Alexa to read you your Kindle book. So I had to do that today. So that's what I did. It read me my Kindle book. And the whole time I'm at my job, like doing things and gonna computer. And then people are like, "You're so quiet today. Are you okay?" I
I'm busy.
for a couple of times I was like, "Mm-mm, yeah." So you're looking for a tearjerker, you're looking for some inspiration, you're looking for something to make you think. This is one of those books for you. I definitely think you should check it out. If you're into drama, if you want to see pattern, if you like pattern recognition, like to see patterns and see them, read the first book first, then come back and read this book. But Seven Rings, One Love, by the way, and this one is Forbidden Love. Ladies and gents, I'm gonna pop out of here because we've been going for quite some time. But I could talk about this book for another. I can definitely talk about it with you because
Yes. Yes.
we. I just don't want to give everybody away,
Yeah.
everything because
But
that's
definitely,
not
this book should make you start thinking about the
good.
choices you have,
Yeah,
appreciating the choices that you have, and
yeah,
rethink certain situations and make sure that this you're doing what you want to do, and
yeah.
recognize the privilege that we have, that
That
we
you
can
do.
actually
Yeah,
exercise them, and
yeah,
just be brave and catch the happiness when you have a chance.
yeah. I'm gonna say this. There's this thing that I do every now and then, and people are like, "What? How?" Ryan, you're so weird, or you're so. I don't think I would have the guts to do that. And a long time ago, someone taught me that every now and then, if you just muster it, you can change your life in 20 seconds. It's called 20 Seconds of Insane Courage. It's how I would go up to people who I thought were way more attractive than I was. And still, and it was how I got jobs. It was how I started my business. 20 seconds, 20 seconds of insight. You might gobble it up. You might say things you're not supposed to say. You might even look dumb. But if you can do that for 20 seconds, I bet you money. I bet you money that you will change your life. You can change your life. So yeah, people. Suck it up. If you read this book and see what happens to this woman, suck it up. You don't have the problem. You have AI. You've got running water. You don't have to live on a farm. Most of you don't have to live on a farm. And those of you who do have like combines and tractors and whatever else to do, you're not out there digging stuff up with your hands. Um, no Body is wow. I can't say this on here. Yo, assault. That's crazy. You are not. You don't have problems. Okay? I don't have problems compared to these problems. So get out. Hey, if you want to go and complain about this, you can do that at mailbag at love. Um, uh, it's okay, no judgment. You can also ask us a bunch of questions, or you can,
Yes.
send in something that you'd like us to talk about. I want you to please, please, please like and subscribe this particular episode. We're going to be talking about Forbidden Love for quite some time because I'm going to expect you to do your homework and read it. And then when we talk about certain things, I don't want to hear anything about, oh, you're spoiling the book, Ryan. All you got to do is buy the Kindle version and then get your when it will be done. Actually, it was better like that. You know why it was better like that? Because I had read the first 4 or 5 chapters before, and then I read the next, few chapters, and I was not remembering it all in sequence, and so it was good to like hear it all at once. What might have been 4 hours at most, and it was done. It was done. I heard the whole thing. If you want to get a copy, this is where you're going to go, agnesamisano.com/publications. But regardless, you're just going to go to the website, agnesamisano.com. It's over there. And I want you to, for sure, check that out and see. And the companion book is this one, Agnes Amisano, Seven Rings, One Love. Check that out and see it out. But yeah, ladies and gents, we're gonna see you next week. Same time,
Absolutely. Same
same
time, same
time.
channel.
Yeah. And other big things are coming. We're gonna talk about that
Oh,
after the show. I
yes,
guess I have lots of
yes.
stuff to give you. I have problems. I have problems. I have questions. So that's why I have
Okay,
questions,
you
because I
can
will.
have questions, you can have problems.
Questions and problems. Okay. Hey, like I said, compared to Adele, I ain't got no problems. I'm good. Ladies and gentlemen, goodbye, good night. I'll see you next week. And enjoy yourselves. Enjoy yourselves. I'm gonna be on vacation. I'm not gonna be at the job all week. So if you have silly things to ask me, you can go ahead and do that. I might not answer, but we'll see. No problems.